Okay, let's unpack this. It feels like the future is just racing towards us,
Yeah.
especially with AI. And it's being shaped by decisions made like just this past week.
Absolutely. You've got government strategy at the highest level, engineers pushing boundaries. It's really reshaping things fast.
And what's wild is how it all connects, right?
Yeah, that's the key. It looks like separate things, policy, new models, huge building projects, but they're tightly linked. It paints a really complex picture of where AI is actually going.
Exactly. So for this deep dive, we're digging into some pretty crucial sources. We've got the White House's new AI action plan, big updates from OpenAI, Google, Alibaba, and insights from industry folks on what it all means.
And our goal really is to pull out the important bits for you.
Yeah, help you make sense of the biggest moves this week and like what they actually mean for the future.
Your future.
Okay, so we absolutely have to start with the big one, the geopolitical piece. The White House just dropped this AI action plan.
Yeah, and the framing is intense. They're basically saying the next decade is a tech race the U.S. cannot afford to lose.
The language is strong, isn't it? I'm talking about a new Cold War almost.
It really is. And if you dig into it, the core message is that winning in AI is, well, a national imperative, nothing less. Trump's forward really sets that tone. It calls for America to, and I'm quoting here, achieve and maintain unquestioned and unchallenged global technological dominance.
Unquestioned and unchallenged, wow.
Yeah, as a core part of national security.
So how do they plan to do that? The plan has three main parts, right?
That's right. Three pillars. First is really sparking domestic innovation, like a firestorm of it.
Okay.
Second, building the huge infrastructure needed to support it all.
Right, the physical stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And third, projecting American power globally to, secure the win. So let's break those down a bit. Innovation first. The strategy is basically full-on support for the private sector. And it specifically goes after what it calls onerous regulations.
Right, I saw that quote from VP J.D. Vance saying, rules would paralyze the tech.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
That smothering it now would paralyze one of the most promising technologies we have seen in generations. Strong words.
And here's where it gets, well, really interesting, maybe even controversial. The plan actually threatens to pull federal money from states that pass their own burdensome AI regulations.
Wow, yeah, that's a serious threat.
And it steps right into the culture wars, too. It insists government AI has to reflect American values, wants models that are objective and free from top-down ideological bias.
Okay.
And it's even removing terms like misinformation and DEI from government AI risk guides.
So a very specific ideological direction there.
Definitely seems that way. Then there's the second pillar. Infrastructure.
And the plan is blunt about this. It says AI is the first digital service in modern life that challenges America to build vastly greater energy generation than we have today.
Vastly greater? That sounds massive.
It is. Their answer is this national push called Build, Baby, Build, which means, a huge effort building data centers, bringing chip manufacturing back home, and constructing a future power grid. They're even talking about mixing current power sources with future stuff like nuclear fusion.
Okay, so huge ambition on the building side. And the third pillar, global leadership.
Yeah, the goal here is to make the entire U.S. tech stack, like from the chips to the software, the absolute gold standard for AI worldwide.
The gold standard, okay.
So that means an aggressive export strategy, getting American tech to allies, specifically to counter China's influence, especially in places like the UN.
Because the administration thinks those forums push innovation-killing regulations.
That seems to be the view, yes. And it also signals a tougher line on security, tighter controls on advanced chips.
Okay, so that's the plan.
Yeah.
It's a lot. How's the industry taking it?
Well, that's a really important question because the industry itself seems kind of conflicted. You have someone like Sam Altman from OpenAI who's been warning pretty loudly about AI's downsides.
Right, things like job losses, the potential for a massive fraud crisis, because AI can fool security.
Exactly. He even co-signed that letter saying AI extinction risk should be a global priority.
Yet, on the other hand, you've got this nonprofit Americans for Responsible Innovation, or ARI. Yeah. They gave the plan a sort of cautious welcome.
Yeah, they saw some of their ideas in there, like stronger export controls and safety research funding.
But they were really worried about the part punishing states for making their own safety rules.
Right. Their president, Brad Carson, basically said, look, for America to lead, you need public trust. And safeguards are key to building that trust.
So it really highlights this tension, doesn't it? The government pushing for speed by cutting regulations.
While some key players are saying, hang on, trust and safety are actually crucial for long-term leadership.
It's like a fundamental debate playing out right now. Okay, so the policy wants massive build-out. Let's talk about that infrastructure reality. Because it's one thing to talk strategy, another to grasp the sheer physical scale.
Absolutely. And OpenAI just made a move that really drives this home. They signed this huge deal with Oracle for their Stargate data center project.
Huge deal. What are we talking about in terms of scale?
Well, get this. The energy demand is just staggering. Together, OpenAI and Oracle are planning new U.S. data centers needing 4.5 gigawatts of power.
4.5 gigawatts. That's city-level power, right?
Pretty much, yeah. A major city. And when you add that to their existing projects, OpenAI is now looking at over 5 gigawatts of data center capacity overall.
5 gigawatts?
That's enough space to run over 2 million of the most powerful computer chips out there.
Wow. So this isn't just adding a bit more capacity. This is a core piece of that whole Stargate plan.
Exactly. And the plan to bring advanced AI to everyone. They'd already pledged $500 billion for U.S. AI infrastructure earlier this year.
Has the trillion.
And now, with partners like Oracle and Japan's SoftBank, they think they'll actually go way past that initial goal.
Okay, but beyond the huge numbers, what about, like, the impact on people?
Jobs. Well, OpenAI is framing this as a big opportunity. They believe building and running these Stargate centers will create over 100,000 jobs.
What kind of jobs?
Everything from construction crews, specialized electricians, right through to full-time technicians keeping things running.
Okay, so there's that potential upside.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets a bit complicated, maybe. While that Oracle deal sounds massive, there are reports that the bigger Stargate project is hitting some snags.
That's right. The Wall Street Journal reported that SoftBank and OpenAI are kind of deadlocked. Issues with choosing sites, agreeing on terms.
Leading to scaled-back plans for 2025. Only one data center site now.
Apparently so. And Elon Musk even publicly questioned if SoftBank actually has the money for something this big.
So it really makes you wonder, right, how quickly can these incredibly ambitious infrastructure plans actually happen?
Exactly. It highlights that the physical world, power grids, land, construction might be the real bottleneck here.
Yeah.
Even for huge players with tons of cash, it's not just about the digital anymore.
Okay, so we've got the grand strategy, the massive physical build-out. What about the AI models themselves, the actual intelligence?
Right, because there were some big moves there this week, too, in terms of power, but also accessibility.
First up, OpenAI is supposedly getting GPT-5 ready for August.
That's the report. And what sounds really interesting there is that GPT-5 might combine language and reasoning into one system.
So you wouldn't need different models for different kinds of tasks.
Potentially, yeah. Altman described testing it as a real here-it-is moment, said it solved problems instantly that made him feel, quote, useless relative to the AI.
Wow. High praise or maybe slightly terrifying praise?
Oh, maybe a bit of both.
And GPT-5 isn't the only thing from OpenAI. There's an open week model coming too.
Reportedly, yes. Their first since 2019, maybe by the end of July. Sounds like it was delayed by safety tests.
Okay, so lots of hype building around those OpenAI releases.
Definitely high expectations. But they aren't the only players making moves. On the open source side, Alibaba's team, the Quinn team, just put out a new reasoning model.
Quinn 3. Something thinking.
Yeah. Gwen 3, 235B, A22B Thinking 25/7. Catchy name. But the benchmarks look impressive. They've really focused on its thinking capabilities. So it's apparently very good at logical reasoning, complex math, science problems, even advanced coding.
Things that usually need, actual human experts.
Exactly. And it's big 235 billion parameters.
But it uses that mixture of experts thing, right? MOE.
Right. Which is key. It means even though it's huge, it only activates about 22 billion parameters at a time for a specific task.
Like having a specialized team within a larger group.
Precisely. Like calling on 8 specialists out of maybe 128 makes it way more efficient.
Okay, that's clever. And the memory, context length.
Massive. Native context length of over 262,000 tokens.
Which translates to?
Like it can remember hundreds of pages of text while it's working. Huge advantage for understanding complex information.
So while OpenAI has its big proprietary model,
you have to ask, right, how will these really powerful, efficient open source models from Alibaba and others change things for developers? Could really democratize access to this level of AI.
And then there's Google. They just released the stable version of Gemini 2.5 Flashlight.
Yeah, and the angle there seems to be all about practicality for developers, like a workhorse model for building things at scale without spending a fortune.
How cheap are we talking?
Ridiculously cheap, actually, like
Yeah.
10 cents to process a million words of input, 40 cents for the output.
Wow, okay.
That's accessible. And it's faster than their previous quick models. Google says it's smarter too. Reasoning, coding, understanding images, audio.
Yeah.
And it still has that huge 1 million token context window.
And people are already using it for real things.
Seems so. The sources mentioned a space tech company using it on satellites for diagnostics,
Okay.
Heijin using it for video translation into tons of languages, and DocSound making technical docs automatically from demo videos.
So it really lowers the bar, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Lets more people experiment and build useful stuff without needing a giant budget.
Exactly. More tools and more hands.
Okay, so bringing it all together, what does this whirlwind of policy, infrastructure, and new models actually mean for us, for society?
Well, it's complex. Sam Altman himself, even while promoting AI, has been pretty blunt about the potential disruption.
Yeah, he talks about immense destruction potential.
Which raises that huge question about jobs, doesn't it? How will this affect how people make a living?
He's been quite specific, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Talking about certain jobs being totally gone.
He has. He pointed directly at the customer support industry as an example, described this almost utopian scenario.
Utopian or dystopian, depending on your view.
Fair point. He described calling support and getting an AI that's like a super smart, capable person. Doesn't make mistakes, super quick, you call once, the problem is to solve.
Okay. That's one vision. But there are other perspectives, right?
Definitely. We saw that quote from Manoj Chaudhary, the CTO at Jitterbit. He offered a really important caution saying it's not AI itself that threatens jobs, but a poorly planned deployment.
Right. Using powerful tools without purpose or human judgment. That's the real danger.
Exactly. He stressed that AI isn't a magic fix, especially when you need things like empathy or nuance.
So it's less about AI taking jobs and more about how we choose to integrate it.
That seems to be his point, a more nuanced challenge.
Altman's vision also touches healthcare, doesn't it?
Yes, he made that pretty bold claim that ChatGPT today is often a better diagnostician than most doctors in the world.
Which is a huge statement.
It is, although interestingly, he then immediately added, I really do not want to, entrust my medical fate to ChatGPT with no human doctor in the loop.
A moment of candor there. Okay, so that's the talk, but what about real-world application in medicine?
Well, this is where it gets really interesting, because it moves beyond just hypotheticals. OpenAI actually partnered with Pinda Health for a research project in Nairobi, Kenya.
Using AI co-pilots in clinics.
Exactly. And they studied nearly 40,000 patient visits. They found that clinicians using the AI system made significantly fewer diagnostic errors, like a 16% reduction.
16%, that's substantial.
And 13% fewer treatment mistakes, too.
How did it work? Did the AI tell them what to do?
No, and that seems key. The system, AI Consult, monitored decisions in real time and flagged potential issues. It didn't dictate care.
More like a safety net.
Exactly. Clinicians reported it improved quality, acted as a safety net, and even an educational tool.
And what made it successful?
The study highlighted a few things. Capable models like GPT-4o, sure, but also seamless integration that didn't mess up the workflow. And really important, active, personalized training for the clinicians.
So it shows a way for AI not to replace doctors, but to actually augment them, make them better.
Precisely, enhancing those critical human roles.
Wow. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground in this deep dive, from the highest levels of government setting strategy and planning massive infrastructure to the bleeding edge of AI models becoming more powerful and accessible.
Yeah, and then down to the very real impacts on jobs, on trust, even potentially life-saving applications in healthcare. It really feels like we're seeing this powerful tension play out, doesn't it? This urgent race for tech dominance versus the critical need for responsible development for public trust.
And the physical limits bumping up against the digital ambition.
Exactly. The real world becoming a bottleneck.
So, wrapping this up, what does it all mean for you listening right now? As governments race ahead, companies push the limits, how do we make sure that human judgment, that public trust we heard about, stays central?
Yeah. What really stands out to you when you think about all these forces converging to shape our AI future?
And here's maybe a final thought to chew on. If AI does become that super smart, capable person, handling routine tasks like customer service, freeing up human brain power, where will your unique, invaluable human judgment be needed most in the world that comes next?